Oh my gosh, Wonder Woman is finally here. Hey everybody, it's Marshall Monk here, and this is going to be my Wonder Woman movie review. So this movie was positively amazing. I loved Wonder Woman, and this really is a huge turning point for the DCEU. But, spoiler alert, because there will be spoilers from the movie throughout this whole review, so if you haven't seen it, go see this movie, because it's that good. Okay. Now that you've had your warning, let's get into this movie. So Wonder Woman is the origin story of the character Diana Prince, and it's directed by Patty Jenkins and stars Gal Gadot as Diana/Wonder Woman, Chris Pine as Steve Trevor, and then a whole bunch of other actors like Connie Nielsen, Robin Wright, Danny Houston. There's so many people in here. So many. This movie was actually really frightening for me to see in development because I just hoped they would get the origin right. Because Wonder Woman, though she's not one of my top DC characters, she is a respected DC character in my book. Not only that, but her origin is so fun that it needs to be done more than well. It needs to be done fantastically, actually. I don't even know if fantastically is really a word. But anyway, not only has Geoff Johns wrote this movie, but I can't remember, I think his name is Alan Heinberg is his last name. I can't really pronounce his last name, but Alan also wrote this movie, right? They're the two screenwriters. So with Alan and Jeff and Patty Jenkins directing, they did so well with this movie. And I think that that's the whole point, is that a lot of people complained about Batman v Superman's writing, and that was Chris Terrio, right? He wrote the movie. David Esquire had stuff to do with that too, but it was mostly Terrio, right? And I think it's because Terrio didn't understand comics, and that's why the movie's writing didn't sit well with fans, right? But when you have Alan Heinberg, Geoff Johns, and Patty Jenkins directing as well, it just really helps the story. And they're not even trying to make a good movie, right? They're just telling the story here. And I feel like because of that tender love and care, the movie did so well, right? It's fantastic for them to tell this story because there are two comic book writers. Alan's wrote comics, Jeff's obviously wrote comics, and then Patty grew up with this character. So all three of them together just made a fantastic film. Also, Gal Gadot, really great Wonder Woman. We'll talk about that soon. And the rest of the cast, great as their roles too. Chris Pine as Steve Trevor, Connie Nielsen as Hippolyta, Robin Wright as Antiope. Like all of them, it was that spectacular. But this movie, again, is an origin story movie, and we have to talk about that. So I feel like, I don't know about you, but I feel like fans are actually liking origin story movies in comics now more than ever, right? And I don't think it's just because of Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman really set it over the bar for people and origin story comic book movies now. Because you remember, back before Deadpool, everyone pretty much hated comic book movie origins, right? Like, everyone was like, okay, no more origin movies in comics. Let's get team movies only and have characters introduced into them, right? But I feel like Wonder Woman, Doctor Strange, and Deadpool really got people back into origins in comic book movies, right? And I feel like it just really, you can really see it. But let's talk about the cast now. So I really do like Steve Trevor as, not Steve Trevor, Chris Pine as Steve Trevor. He's just such a good actor for the role. You'd think that he is Steve Trevor, the character. And he is. He is so good as this character. I feel like he's just so funny. Chris Pine's a very funny guy. And I feel like he's not a damsel in distress here, because obviously Wonder Woman is the main character here, but he plays really well off of the, Diana, and they have a lot of chemistry, and he's just really thoughtful, but he also does his job, right? He's not messing around, and I feel like that's the great thing. And even though he has to deal with Diana in this movie, tagging along, he doesn't see it as a nuisance, right? He tries to help her and guide her, even though he doesn't truly believe in what she's trying to tell him, right? And that's also spectacular. He's just trying to help. He's trying to be a good guy, he's trying to do his job, and he really does care about the people in this war. And it's really nice seeing Chris Pine portray that here. So I thought it was spectacular. I thought he did a great job. And I would love to see him come back somehow because of his really sad death. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Oh my god! She is amazing. I mean, she was great in Batman v Superman, right? She was like really hardcore there. But here, Alan, Jeff, Patty, they really do humanize her a lot more. They make her more innocent. They show her journey. And again, they're just telling her story. She has a lot of fun banter with Chris Pine. even like the risque banter that they have, about her meeting a man for the first time, that was so funny. And both of them played it off really well. But Wonder Woman here has this innocence that really kind of reminds me of Starfire. Although, Starfire's innocence plays off of her sex factor. And I feel like Wonder Woman's not about that. Here she has a lot of heart, and she's just that genuine. Really, she's the most genuine comic book character I think you could ever get right now. And I think that's one of the best things about her. And Gal Gadot plays it so well. She's great at playing the hardcore Wonder Woman in BVS, and I'm sure we'll get more of that in Justice League. But right here, she's great at playing a naive yet very smart and powerful character. And I feel like that's what really shows you that, it just shows you that Gal Gadot can really play this character. So some other characters that were in this movie, Antiope, love Robin Wright, but what the heck? Why did she die in the first act? That made no sense. I know that it's like, okay, we're gonna kill her off so that you can drive Diana to be even more of a warrior than she is now, but it's just like, Robin Wright, how could you kill off Robin Wright? That's just crazy. I don't know if they're gonna bring her back somehow, like Hades can maybe bring her back, right? Or like if Superman could come back, why can't Antiope, right? But I feel like it's weird that Antiope died. And then also, Connie Nielsen as Hippolyta was really nice. And Etta Candy was great. We'll talk more about Etta Candy later on. And then we'll also talk about Danny Houston and all of them later on. But the characters that we saw on Themyscira, very nice. And then let's talk about some other stuff. The action in this movie, surprisingly, even though the trailers are very built on action, it's very weird, because as I was watching the movie, the action's not really spread out through the film. Think Captain America Civil War. That movie has action spread out across the whole movie. It's story, action in that film. But here, again, they're telling a story here, and then there's just sprinkles of action until you get to the third act, which is basically all action, right? Other than the romantic moments that Steve and Diana have, which were also spectacular. Great emotion there. So I feel like the action was nice here, and I feel like it was better than I think. I feel like people had a better time with the action here than they have in, say, BVS, because there's literally like no action except for a few Batman moments, right? So I just think that here it's better, but it's not exactly like Marvel type action, right? But that's okay, because I actually like the story elements in DC films better. Now let's talk about some of the other characters that we haven't mentioned yet. I don't like Danny Houston, and I don't like Dr. Poison in this film. I feel like they don't have a lot to do here, and I feel like they were there as not only a placeholder till Ares got to the third act, but also because Danny Houston was the only person that Wonder Woman could truly fight with until Ares showed up, right? So I feel like that was a little cheap. I mean, the performance was still good by them. I feel like the actors were good, but I just didn't think it worked, right? And then also, Etta Candy. I liked Etta Candy. I was hoping she'd have a bigger role, though. I mean, I know that it doesn't really make sense for her to have a bigger role, but she's so much fun to have here that they really didn't get to play around with her a lot, right? It was mainly just like when Diana was shopping for clothes, and then like a few moments throughout the film, right? It was like, okay, you kind of built her up to be this like bigger character in the trailers, but that's fine, right? But I feel like it was okay not having too much of her. So as you can see, this movie's great. I feel like this movie does deserve to be not only the highest rated DC EU movie on Rotten Tomatoes, but the highest rated comic book movie, right? It's like a higher rated movie than any Marvel film ever. So I think that that's great. And I think that you guys will love Wonder Woman. So please go rewatch the movie, right? I mean, I know this is a spoiler review, so you guys have already seen it, but go watch it again, because it's that good. So don't forget to scream this video out down below by sharing it to all your friends. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, I will see you guys later for some more videos. Bye-bye.